People often say that writing is the most important thing in UPSC examination, and rightly so, because the examiner does not know you, does not know your background, does not know your struggles. The examiner only sees your answer. You get only 150 to 250 words, and in that tight space, you must analyze, you must inform, you must assess, and that too with elegance. Toppers do not write more, they write more meaningful. They make each line count. It shows not only the knowledge, but also the character. Do you think ethically? Do you offer hope? Can you lead during the crisis? Your answer tells everything. It also prepares you for the service. The ability to think fast, write precisely, and communicate with compassion are some of the things that a civil servant does on a daily basis. Hello everyone, my name is Mohit Alawat. I am the program head of Short Mains Test Series program here at Vajiram Ravi. I have personally mentored hundreds of rankers. And from past 2 days, I have analyzed almost more than 200 answers written by our beloved AIR1, Shakti Dubey. Shakti was a student here at Short Mains Test Series program. I have distilled down 10 key takeaways that I believe they should be a part of each student's preparation strategy. So without any further ado, let's begin our video. The first key takeaway is introduction hooks. Shakti has definitely mastered the art of writing great introductions. Her introductions, they create curiosity in the mind of the reader. They captivate the reader and leave them wanting for more. They set a perfect tone for the rest of the answer for what is to follow in the body part. If we look at some examples, now this is a question about ancient India, from ancient Indian syllabus. What Shakti has done in this introduction, she has utilized current affairs. Now someone who is writing a current affairs based introduction in an ancient India related question, the examiner will be captivated from the word go. The examiner will find it very interesting and would definitely want to what the person has to say in the body and the conclusion. If we move on and see another example, this is a question from GS4 ethics paper. She has utilized a beautiful quote here about building stronger children rather than repairing broken men. This is such a powerful quote. It captures the essence of the answer. And the examiner will definitely would want to award her 0.5 marks extra than any other answer. And introductions are not the only key takeaway. Moving forward, the second key takeaway is culminating conclusions. Her conclusions, they are not just closing remarks. They are not just closing statements. They are well-built, well-crafted climaxes. She is having a conversation in the body part with the examiner. What she does in the conclusion, she elevates that conversation to the next level. And then she culminates into a broader set of goals, a broader vision, or a set of reforms in the conclusion. Her conclusions are definitely amazing. If we look at the examples, in this question, the point 4 and point 5 here, she is talking about challenges. But if we think logically, what comes after challenges? After challenges comes reforms, measures. So what she does here, she summarized all the measures that should be taken in the paragraph format and linked them with a goal to write in the conclusion. Another example, here she is talking about way forward in the body part. So what is the logical step after way forward? If we implement these steps, then we will achieve some broader vision, broader goal. And she does that in the conclusion. She linked it with the goal of Viksit Bharat by 2047. Isn't that amazing? These are beautiful conclusions. People say conclusions are the most important part of any answer. Why? Because it is here that after reading your whole answer, the examiner is going to reward you. So they have a psychological impact also. And Shakti Dubey understood that very well. Moving forward, our next key takeaway is understanding demand and interpretation of the directive words. Now, this is an area Shakti has nailed to perfection. She understands the demand very well. She knows what a particular directive means. She not only dumps the content, she analyzes, she assesses, she gives critical perspectives. This is an area which I believe every student can master after a certain amount of practice. But Shakti goes one step further. She not only understands the demand of the question, she also understands that why this particular question has been asked. Why this particular question has been asked. And this can only be understood by two things: deep analysis of PYQs and having a great command over current affairs. And both of these things are some of the features which we heavily focus in our short program. Moving forward, our next key takeaway is apt structure and presentation. Now, structuring a UPSC answer is not just about writing introduction, body, conclusion. Every student writes introduction, body, conclusion these days. Structuring a UPSC answer is to understand to how to break down the statement of the question into different parts. Which part to give more weightage, which part to give less weightage. It is to understand where to make flowcharts and, more importantly, where not to make flowcharts, where to do value additions. And Shakti's structuring abilities are amazing. She not only knows how to prioritize the points, she also knows where to make flowcharts, where to not make the flowcharts. Moving forward, the next key takeaway is strategic use of current affairs in intro, body, and conclusion. Shakti's answers, they reflect that she has a great command over current affairs, which she has strategically sprinkled all over her answers. Now the bits, the tone of her answer, the bits and pieces of current affairs that she has used in her answer writing, they suggest that she is an avid reader of any newspaper. These are some of the examples of current affairs that she has been using in her answers. Another example. Now, the difficult thing about current affairs is that these days many aspirants, they do not inculcate newspaper into their preparation strategy. Even some educators, they say that reading newspaper is not necessary. And the problematic part is that these people are not wrong, because they themselves have achieved a substantial level of success doing this, right? But if we take a key takeaway from Shakti's answers, and in my personal opinion also, any student who wants to score a single digit rank, reading a newspaper for current affairs along with current affairs compilation is a sine qua non for anyone who wants to get a single digit rank. Moving forward, the next key takeaway is interlinkage between GS papers. Now, Shakti has this unique ability that she can interlink GS1 with GS2, GS2 with GS4, GS4 with GS1. Some of the examples. Here in this question about quality of service delivery, this is a question from ethics paper. She is using the data from economic survey. Most people will use economic survey for only GS paper 3. Another example. This is a question about geography, rare earth minerals, distribution of them. GS paper 1. What she does is she has actually invoked science and technology here, GS paper 3. AI, machine learning, data analytics. Isn't that great? Another example, addressing drug abuse. This is a question about a social problem of drug abuse. What she does here, she invoked Gandhiji's drug abuse. She invoked Gandhiji's 7 sins. She gave it an ethical touch. And then she talked about mental health also. Right? So the interlinking ability of Shakti Dubey, where she can interlink one particular area to another area, is amazing. And both of these things, the fifth key takeaway that we talked about, the use of current affairs, and the sixth key takeaway, interlinkage between GS papers. Both of these key takeaways point out to certain another thing. They point out to certain another thing, which is memorization of syllabus. It is so basic. It is so basic that every aspirant should be able to memorize the syllabus. But 99% of the aspirants don't do that. Right? You cannot use current affairs strategically if you do not remember where to use them. You cannot interlink something if you cannot remember that thing. Right? So basic thing is to remember or to memorize the syllabus given by UPSC. And it's very simple. Just take a printout, paste it on the wall of your room, read it once every day, and within 10 days, it will be on your fingertips. Moving forward, the next key takeaway is comprehensive and condensed knowledge reflected about topics mentioned in the syllabus of UPSC. She has prepared every topic thoroughly, which is mentioned in the syllabus. Right? This points out to something else. That is to make notes. She has prepared notes. When you will read her answers, you will find sometimes, if you are a new aspirant, you will find it that it is nearly impossible to remember so much content about this topic. Right? But it is not impossible. It is very much doable. There are two things that a student needs to understand. One thing is notes making. She definitely has made notes. Right? And many students, they do not even understand how to make notes. They get it wrong all the time. Two most important criteria about note making is, one is PYQ analysis. As I repeat again, we focus heavily on PYQ analysis in UPSC in our short program. And the another thing is to write only what you cannot remember. If you start making notes on every topic without analyzing PYQs and without realizing that you are writing something which you can easily remember, then your notes will become very bulky and they will be of very low quality and of no use. You cannot revise them just before the examination. So that is very, very important, and this is the area where we focus a lot in our program. Moving forward, next key takeaway is use of keywords and key phrases. Now, use of keywords and key phrases, what does it give you? Shakespeare once said that brevity is the soul of wit. Right? Anything that you can express in precise manner, in concise manner, that shows your intelligence. And UPSC exactly wants that. Not only these keywords, they improve the validity of the argument, they also helps us to be concise and exact. Some of the examples. If you look at this, religious differences, propaganda, warfare, what a keyword it is. In this example, she has used development-induced displacement. Development-induced displacement. These are not just three words. They can become an answer in itself. But she is expressing her thoughts through these keywords. Another example. Here at WTO, she is writing about illegal, unregulated and unresponsive fishing. Illegal, unregulated, unresponsive fishing. So these kind of keywords, these kind of key phrases that you have to inculcate into your own preparation as well. Another example we can take. This is about secularism. She is talking about Sarva Dharma Sambhav, and she is also talking about principled distance model. This principled distance model or Sarva Dharma Sambhav, they are not just three words. You can write a whole book on these keywords, right? So they help you to be more articulate, to be more lucid, and to be exact and precise. And UPSC rewards that. Moving forward, our next key takeaway is use of quotes and personalities. So why use quotes and personalities? Using quotes, the right quote at the right time, increases the impact of the sentences that you have written, that you want to convey. It brings preciseness and exactness into your language. It not only gives validity to your argument. When you quote some personality, some prominent politician or some historical figure, it also gives validity to your argument. Whatever you are writing now has more value. In this example, it is about caste as social capital. She had started with Indians do not cast their vote, rather they vote their caste. A political cultural phenomena in India. It is widespread, and she expressed that beautifully with this quote. Another example, if we see, in India-Bangladesh relations, she started by quoting our finance minister S. Jaishankar. If we see another example, a code of ethics, here she started with Mike Rowe. Another example, emotional intelligence, she quoted Emerson in the introduction. So using quotes or eminent personalities is always great. They increase the impact, they increase the intensity of what you are talking about by at least twice or thrice. Here she quotes Dhruv Jaishankar. Now Dhruv Jaishankar is an IR specialist, international relations, right? S. Jaishankar was also our foreign minister right now, but he was an ambassador too, our foreign secretary too, right? So these personalities, when you analyze, they point out to another key takeaway, which is she's not afraid of using her optional knowledge. Her optional was political science and international relations. She's not afraid of using her optional knowledge into GS papers, if that knowledge can enrich or add value to the answer. You have to be very careful while using optional knowledge. You can, but that knowledge should be so generalized. That knowledge should be so generalized that it can be understood by every layman. And you have to avoid technical jargons, right? So to a generalized level, you can definitely use optional knowledge. This is a key takeaway from Shakti Dubey's answers. Moving forward, the next key takeaway is consistent improvements. If you look at this figure, if you look at this picture, here you will see that she has written almost 10 tests. She has written almost 10 tests. In this figure, she has written almost 10 tests, right? And from test 1, here she scored 82 marks in GS1, but by the time she wrote test 5, she scored 105 marks. In the beginning, she scored only 79 marks in the ethics, but by the time examination came, she was already at 115 marks. So consistency and improvements. These two are two different words, but very important. Consistency is important, but it does not always guarantee you that there will be improvement also, right? So how was Shakti Dubey able to improve with consistency? Because she was a part of a well-built ecosystem that she built around herself, right? She had the right guidance. She had the discussion with the right mentors. She had joined the right test series, right? And this is what you have to do. Any aspirant who wants to get a single-digit rank, they should do consistent improvements. Your progress, your competition is with you only. You should do better today than you were doing yesterday, right? So these are the 10 key takeaways that we can take from Shakti Dubey's answers. My name is Mohit Alawat, and if any one of you who is interested in getting a single-digit rank, please come visit us at Vajiram Ravi near Metro Station, New Building. Short program, we have an amazing team. Our team consists of not only subject experts, but also rankers. I am there, Brain Sir is there, other senior mentors are there. Thank you for watching the video. Have a nice day. Bye.